I thought this was cool. This would be neat. When I first started Whatnot back in the day, it would be awesome if I had like 2 or 3 people coming into the let's look at this Rescuing Da Vinci. This looks cool. So this one's about, it's Hitler and the Nazis stole Europe's, am I on the screen? Okay, good. Great art. America and her allies recovered it. So if you don't know, at the end of World War II is the kind of the German offensive, as it were, was collapsing. The people scatter like rats on a ship, right? People take what they can get. Everything's collapsing. You take art, you take gold, you take jewelry, because sometimes it's $1 million painting or a $10 million painting is easier than carrying $10 million. You know what I'm saying? So apparently we had to go back and get it. War sucks. I'll just say that. But what was I saying before I started looking at this? I completely forgot. Man, look at that. But anyway, I get a ton of these kind of books. I get tons of coffee table books. I am a sucker for some good photos. And sometimes it's nice just to kind of slow down and just flip through the dang things. I pick up so many and I unbox so many and I process so many. Sometimes, ooh, that's cool. Look at that. So I guess that's how they ship the paintings. I love these ties. This is how dudes used to dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we used to, like, it would be uncouth to not be in a suit. And here I am sitting in a pair of jeans with a big ass hole in it. And, oh man, they stole these big ass statues too. Look at that. Jeez. Anyway, let me look at the chat. Sorry. You like the split screen? Cool. Yeah, we use we'll probably end up doing some YouTube videos on this. It's the same program that like the kids use on Twitch. I say kids, I'm in my 40s, but yeah, so it's multi-screens. I've got a soundboard over there. It's all run with my computer. And it's kind of neat because like we can bring up the inventory, for example. And then we can kind of do a bunch of different shows. I really do kind of treat Whatnot like Twitch. And I kind of have, oh, that's what I was saying. In the beginning, I used to have, the platform was young. I just got on the platform, so you'd only have 1 or 2 people in the stream, which is totally cool. I was super grateful for it. But where's the inventory? List an item. Maybe that'll get me there. So the other thing is cool is that I can also bring in the inventory. So like if we're doing one of these live shows and we're just kind of hanging out, chilling out, shooting the shit. If you happen to look in Marketplace and you see something that you want, I can pull it in live pretty easily as well. So my goal has always kind of been to be like a functional like bookstore on Whatnot. Do you know what I'm saying? And then like the shows are just like something to kind of like guide the conversation and the focus. And for me, they ended up being a really nice like organizational tool because I consider like each show a bucket. So as I get in the books and Whatnot folks get first crack at all the books that I get. And I don't get a ton. I was so shocked at Reliant Bookstore last night. They list 5,000 books a week. A week. That is so many, guys. That is so many. So if you guys are not following Reliant Bookstore, oh my God, they've got their shit together. I was so impressed with their workflow. I'm a workflow nerd, and man. So anyway, so this is neat. I can bring this up. Let's get back to Nazis. It was pretty impressive. I mean, no shit. Like the dude, and I wish I would have caught his first name, but I didn't. Very articulate gentleman. He was, showing the books and hanging out and all that. And then it was so awesome because people would go to their website, like off platform, and then they would be able to send an order for them to bring it to run it on the show. And it was just a smooth I heard the Michael Jackson song in my head the whole time. Maybe I could message you about how to do it. Or are you them? Or how they yeah, I would love to find out if you know. I'm always I'm down for learning. Cuz like for me, cuz ultimately this is probably going to be what I do for the rest of my life, like just with my living situation and my wife's health. It's just and I don't need to be like a rich guy or anything. I'm a pretty simple dude. I wear worn clothes and I'd rather sit and read books than go on vacation. But It's a simple life, but it's a good life. And but I am going to need... Ooh, look at that. Wow. Look at that. Can you guys see that? There's like Nazi symbols all the way down there. That must be one of their rallies. Jeez. The eagle, the whole deal. Look at all those people. And you think Trump has crowds. Holy shit. That's a crowd. And that's not... Oh, there he is there. That's Hitler there. Jeez. History's wild. Like, I hardly watch TV anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just look back at history. It's usually scarier, to be fair. Don't get me wrong. I like a good horror movie, though. I really like horror movie summaries. That's kind of where the... Man. See there? I see it both ways. I see it tilted, and then I see it kind of straighter, but maybe the flag isn't straight. So anyway, this is this book. Pretty wild. Again, at the collapse of World War II, lots of art pieces kind of were absconded. You know, there's a lot of movie plots about this stuff. And this book here is about... Ooh, that's a pretty piece. Look at that. That's cool. Man, I like that light. Man, painters are cool. Anyway, man, look at that photo. Pull this up. Some soldiers in the front. I wonder who these folks are. Look, classy German outfit there. Back here, too. This is a good tune. So, yeah, and these are big bucks, man. Like, these are big bucks. A lot of these are probably all sitting in museums now. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's look at the next one. So the only thing I need for this setup is I need like a screen right here so I can see the chat. Or I need more cables. I don't know what. Didn't Hitler have that hidden room with all the art he stole? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. What?
Look up the Amber Room.
Amber Room. Oh, yep. Jonas says that too. Research the Amber Room for a crazy story about Nazis stealing antiquities.
Yep. They still can't find
All right, let's do that. They can't find this room?
They dismantled.
That's like Pharaoh's fucking tomb, kind of.
Yeah. So, yeah, look up the Amber Room. You want to talk about Nazis stealing?
Yeah. No, let's do that. We're doing that right now.
The Amber Room.
That's what this is all about. We're just learning random shit.
It's like one of the most well-known ones that they took.
So obviously disclaimer with ChatGPT, only trust it so far and double check, but it's good in a pinch. The Amber Room is a world famous ornately decorated chamber made entirely of amber panels, gold leaf, and mirrors. Originally constructed in the 18th century in Prussia and later installed in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, Russia, often called the eighth wonder of the world. It was a dazzling example of Baroque art and craftsmanship. Okay, so it's badass. I get that. How, in the context of World War II and Hitler, what is the story? Please, just 2 paragraphs. All right. They found one of his hidden stashes, but believe he had many more. Dang. During World War II, the Amber Room was seized by Nazi forces during their invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. Hitler had long admired the room, which was originally crafted in Prussia before being gifted to Russia. And am I correct in understanding that Prussia is now modern-day Germany? Is that accurate or like ish? Maybe we looked that up too. Nazi troops dismantled the chamber in just 36. So they moved the fucking thing and transported its amber panels and ornate decorations to the Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, now Kaliningrad. Or is that still in? Anyway, well, maybe we looked that up. There it was reassembled and displayed in a museum as a symbol of Germany reclaiming lost cultural heritage. As the war turned against Germany, Allied bombings devastated Königsberg. In 1945, the Amber Room vanished, either destroyed in the bombings, war sucks, hidden by retreating Nazis, or taken by looters. All equally plausible, in my opinion. Despite extensive searches and investigations, its fate remains unknown, sparking decades of I think somebody ran off with it. Because I think if you blew it up, you'd find bits of it, right? Like if you were really looking for it, like they could do chemical analysis to find like the amber, in the soil or something like that. I think if it were there, it would have been found. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like with modern day technology, if folks are still digging, I'll have to look into see how far, like, you know what I mean? So I think someone ran off with it. I think they boiled it down, whatever was in there, and I think they sold it to survive, for better or worse. Whether it's a good guy or a bad guy, who knows? Its fate remains unknown, sparkling decades of speculation, conspiracy theories, and treasure hunts. The Nazis' looting of the Amber Room is emblematic of the vast cultural plunder that took place under Hitler's regime, which is kind of what that book was kind of about. They took all the shit, and then we got to spend all the time getting it back. It's a huge quantity. So maybe yeah, but still, like, that's a big city. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, obviously, we're never going to know. But you would think that if it was even parts of it were there and they were, like, you say it was buried under something, because like everything was anyway. And then even if it say it was bombed to begin with and then it was turned into scrap. And then all of a sudden you got all these town residents that need whatever it is they need to survive, right? I don't know. But it's interesting. I didn't know anything about that. Which I'm having this like firm opinion about it, and I literally don't know anything about it. Maybe I dial back my certainty a little bit. They had so many secret tunnels and bunkers. Yeah. I mean, who knows? All I know is war is hell. So I have no idea what this is about. The name is what stuck me. I figured we flip through it right quick. Bob Hope's Confessions of a Hooker. My lifelong love affair with golf. So I'm sure it's just like a biography, kind of like memoir type of thing, in the context of his golf career. I'm actually not 100% sure who Bob Hope is, to be fair. The foreword's by President Gerald Ford. This is a book that needed to be written. I don't know of a single person not directly involved full-time with golf who has made great. So he's a golf guy. Oh, no. He's like a fundraiser guy. Is he the TV guy? Is that who Bob Hope is? Let's see. Who's Bob Hope? Who is Bob? I should know this. Like, I think in the wrong crowd, I ask this question, I get made fun of. I don't know if you folks are this crowd, but I appreciate that you're not. So, I didn't see somebody pick something up. What'd you pick up? Oh, the Caesar Milan. Oh, the signed Caesar Milan. Yeah, that's cool. I found that in a clean out, I think that was. So sometimes what folks do is they'll call me, because I'm a young strapping boy. I get called to help carry stuff out of basements, and I don't get paid cash. My payment is whatever I'd like to take out of the house, which is always the books, right? So I might pick up a chair or something every now and then, but that's what they do. And usually, we're cleaning it out so the agent and the homeowner can generally get it on the market. Because generally, 99.9% of the time, there's nothing that's going to be in that house that is going to come anywhere near the value of the house itself. So the goal is generally to get it as empty as you can so you can get it out on the market and sold. And that's where I come in. I go carry all the 50, boxes of books. I go in and I'll clear the shelves out. I'll box it up for people and we'll just get it out of there. Anyway, Bob Hope was a British-American comedian, actor, singer, and entertainer whose career spanned nearly 80 years. Known for his quick wit, signature nasal voice, and one-liners, he became a household name through radio, film, and television, starring in numerous comedy hits, especially the Road 2 movies with Bing Crosby and Dorothy Lamour. Hope is especially remembered for entertaining... Oh, okay, that's where I know him. For entertaining U.S. troops through decades of USO tours, from World War II through the Gulf War, earning him deep respect and affection among American service members. He received numerous honors, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom and an honorary knighthood from the Queen. Cool. Let's flip through this. So I guess, and then he parlayed that influence to raise money for golf. So good on him. And it makes sense why Gerald Ford would write if he was, especially if he was so pretty. Oh, look at this guy's face. You take your ball where you find it and you play it as it lies, even in a winter wonderland in Germany. This guy had a pretty fun life, I guess. So I don't know if there's any golf fans out there. We won't spend a ton of time on this one. It's pretty neat. I love these old school microphones. I missed it. I won't go find it again, but God, good song. So Bob Hope. All right. Cool dude. Had fun. Confessions of a Hooker. There you go. Let's look at this one next. This one's called Here Comes the Politkovsky, a biography of a Russian-built gunboat. I don't know anything about this. I thought it was neat. It looks kind of, the boat itself looks kind of, ooh, look at that photo. Waves washing houses off sandpit during storm in 1902. There's a storm in 1902 for you. I love the little dude right here walking, waves crashing. That's a neat photo. Very well composed as well. Look at that. Look at that guy. He looks cool. A little dog. See, as a photographer, gonna nerd out. I love this center composition. I love the fact that these are like two opposing like energies that balance each other in the photo. I like the frame within the frame within the frame, and then the kind of leading line. It's just a little bit one, but kind of right here. This is a really well done photograph. So kudos to you, Mr. 1900 photographer. Again, same thing here. This is really neat. You got your foreground, midground, background elements, and then you have like a line that goes right through it. And then you have opposing energies that balance each other out insofar as like the weight of the image. This is also a really well done photo. Good job, 1900s people. Again, I miss photography sometimes. This is a cool photo too, man. Look at that. These are Eskimos. That's cool. Ooh, look at that. I love these street scenes. Fine whiskeys, it says right there. Can you guys see that? That's so cool. New York kitchen, it says there. U.S. surveyors. Part of the fun is like, you know, here it's pretty easy, but it's kind of trying to find out like where these photos are taken based on like context clues in the photo itself. So, and if you guys are ever out and about and you see like collections of like really old photos and you can, you know, you're in a position to pick them up, do always, like, for real, because some photos could, like, look at that photo, look at that moment. That is so cool. Like freaking log flying through the air. Oh my goodness. Like, and here's the thing that it was on. Oh, you know what? It's connected. So it wasn't a moment that was intended. Man, good timing though. There needs to be like a photo channel. But anyway, I was just saying, do try to pick up the old photos, man. We think photos are like little mini books. I always make the joke that if a photo is worth 1,000 words, that sure as shit sounds to me like a short story, doesn't it? So you can't convince me that photos aren't just little like one scene books. Does that make sense? Am I being weird? I might be being weird, and if I am, that's okay. I really do feel that way. Good, nice leading line again. That's good. I like these repeating pattern in the background. It's real nice. Man, good photographers. Anyway, let me come over here. No, you're good. Okay, thanks, Cassie. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the folks coming in and out. They're probably going, what the hell is this guy doing just sitting here running his mouth? No, it's fine. So this one's really cool. I dig this one. This is probably, I don't know why I couldn't in context just flipping through it, like see how the gunboat is related. But that one's neat. Let's see what else we got down here. And we're going to be on, I have to take my we'll probably be on for another 15, 20 minutes just kind of hanging out. This is cool. Viewpoints Library of Congress selection of pictorial treasures. That's kind of a fun one. I always suggest to folks to, if you see these for cheap, these are, and if you're like a reseller type and you're always out in like antique stores and Goodwill, it's also nice to kind of maybe flip through these kinds of books every now and then, just to kind of just to put in your brain, like what might be nice collectibles. And that way, if you're kind of, you're looking around and something will catch your eye and your brain will go, that for some reason. So you're on in my car on the way to a company picnic. Oh, Greg. Oh no, you can't see the images though. I gotta describe them like metadata in a tweet. So what we're looking at here is called Collector's Guide to Limited Edition. I'm gonna try. You see how I immediately started to tell you what the book was because you can't see it. It's called Plates, Figurines, Ingots, Paperweights. It's by Ralph and Terry Coble, who are like super famous. You know, all throughout the book, you got images of really fancy old ass plates, and now the pricing in this book, obviously, is not something that you can take to the bank. In the collector world, once eBay and online sales listings became available to anyone everywhere, it turned what was once rare into not so rare, and then turned what was never rare into sometimes super rare because people could find things more easily. Do you know what I'm saying? Before the internet, imagine you needed that specific plate. And I just picked a random plate off the page, and you couldn't just go to eBay and type in the name of the plate. Like, you actually had to get out there, go to flea markets, like social network with folks at like craft affairs and flea markets and like, you know, do some legwork to find these things. And the internet kind of democratized all of that. So, you know, if you were like, for example, I know a guy over in, I think it's London. He collects Catholic missals from different papal periods, meaning, and he wants, there's 3 sizes of missals as I understand it, and he wants one missal of each size for his collection, and he's in London. Now, I happened to find one of these things in some random ass basement in St. Louis. Zero chance this guy would have found that specific missile before the internet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in the internet, just, you know, it makes it one keyword. And I don't think we like, sometimes we take for granted how just that's revolutionary. Like, that's like, that changes the human condition of society. And so that's how I feel. This random tangent brought to you by an overly caffeinated Steve the Book Guy. Tune in all day as he does random things for absolutely no reason. This should never have been given a microphone. All I've ever wanted in my life was a microphone and a few friends that had to listen to me. Let me tell you about these dinosaurs. Do you know the Tyrannosaurus? No. It was kind of like that, though. Anyway, the next book we're pulling out is called Gems, The World's Greatest Treasures and Their Stories. So what stories do you have to tell us, Gems? Pretty shiny, rocky things? You can always tell about what time the coffee starts to kick in a little bit. Oh, that's cool. What's that, a crown, a cameo? What the hell is that? Besides slightly obnoxious. A lot of different things going on there. So probably the coolest thing I ever did insofar as anything gem or jewel related, back in the day when I was a photographer and a media guy, I got to go to London on a gig, and so we went to the Tower of London, and that's where they store. I don't know if they store all of the crown jewels there, but and there's like a super big ass vault in this whole deal, and so I did get to see the crown jewels, at least if those are the real ones. No, I don't know. They looked real. And those dudes, I think they're called beefeaters. I think those guys are those guys are super rad. Apparently they're all like ex-Navy SEALs type folks. Like, you have to have this like super like storied service record to be considered to be a beefeater. I think they're called beefeaters. But it was cool. You go in there, they give you a tour. They show you where everyone was tortured and where the bodies are buried. And at the end of the tour, if you want, like, there's a really old church in the corner. And if you go in there, you sit, and there's a lot of history in there as well. And then like the dude, like gives like a history. It was a neat experience. I'm glad I was able to do it. A jug. Well, I don't know what context. City driving, so lots of stoplights. It was a neat thing, and the guy, like in all of the tour guides, I think they were all. That's when I learned for the first time that like it wasn't. These guys weren't just tour guides. These guys were like literally like heavily meddled, heavily recognized, like ex-military in whatever, I don't know what they call the London military. All I know is the RAF, and I don't think he was RAF, but it was a cool thing. He was a little guy too, man, but he did not look like he was to be fucked with. Do you know how you just can kind of tell sometimes by how like they move and how like not in a rush they are, but like they're but you know what I'm saying? They're just, like they don't have a care in the world. Those are the ones you got to be like, maybe I don't mess with this one. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just get a vibe. I got a buddy out in Vegas, again, back when I was doing media and stuff. He did a lot of work with like boxers and was kind of in that circuit. And he always used to tell me that these huge boxers that, could lay out a human being easily were always like the nicest dudes in the world. And then he said to me, he goes, Steve, they don't have to be mean. People, so I was like, that's rad. Anyway, this book is called Clementina of Lady Hawarden. I don't know who this is, and I actually wanted to look who this person up because I dig this vibe. It's got this teenager, like Jane Austen kind of vibe. Ooh, and it's full of photos. Let's see what the deal is. Who is this lady? Or maybe she's just like a photographer. It's high Victorian art photography. Maybe she was a photographer. We will be looking at a lot of like photo books. One day I'll have a show bucket where I've got some of my prints and stuff available for folks. And then if nothing else, I get to talk to a few folks that might be interested in it, which is always super fun. Look at these big ass hats. Look how bug-eyed he had to be in the light source. I wonder what the light source is. And this is interesting. So this person was probably just, somebody who had some means and got a camera. This is really well composed. You see what I'm saying? How you have the opposing energies. You have something on this side of the frame, then you have these people. It's just interesting. Same thing here. They did the same thing here. So whoever this person was, definitely new composition. I actually, when I was first a photographer, the way I used to kind of like learn light was by looking at any image and like kind of figuring out where the light was coming from. So you have a source of light like right over here, right? Because the shadows are being thrown that way. So I used to have magazines. So like this just strikes me as like a young lady who just grabbed a couple of her friends or her sisters and was like, let's play dress up. This is cool. Use of the mirror. That's really rad. This is fun. I like this book. Nice composition. Again, foreground, midground, and then you got some interesting background within a frame. Who is this? Clementina. Killed it, lady. Good job. Here, we'll go a little faster. I do love this stuff. I think one of the reasons why I really like this stuff too is because it like transcends time. This person is high Victorian, right? Late 1800s, somewhere in that range. And we're sitting here, this could have happened yesterday. Different technology and stuff, but like same vibe. Like, look, this is great stuff. And this is interesting because she's using just the light, and she's really just really good. This is really reminiscent of like if you told me these were like wedding photos and like you just change this into a white dress, I would believe you. Like, is this kind of the vibe it's getting? You know what I'm saying? Like, here's a bride and here are the little kids watching the lady get dressed as they do. That's cool. Oh, this is fun. Look at this. And yeah, just really good composition. Because it's a leading line, right? It kind of brings you up to her face. It just kind of brings you in. Is this where the chin flower pose came from? No, I'm kidding. Trying to do something fun with the mirror. Yeah, I hope you guys like this. I'm sorry if I nerded out a little hard on this, but this is I don't know. I like this. I really like this too. Like, I think like this image, you could probably like print and put on a wall. Like this whole series. This one. Not this one so much, but this one. I like this shit going on over here. But it's interesting because it's almost like I can imagine that whoever's taking the frame is like, you know, like they're creating a line, right? So it's interesting because like when you become a photographer, you really do kind of start to see the world a little bit differently. You start to see shapes, colors, repeating patterns. Like, yes, that's a wall. Yes, that's a bookshelf, but it's also a repeating pattern and you know, many frames and the world just, you know, it's like a big puzzle and you're trying to put it together to express whatever thought or idea or whatever energy or moment behind the photo, you know, and then you try to compose it in an interesting, like brain pleasing way so people will actually read the story or feel the moment that you're trying to express to them. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense. This is really good. I like this one. Again, this like screams wedding photo to me. Look at that big ass dress though. Those are wild. Sorry, I haven't looked back at chat in a while. I'm sure hopefully I don't know. Let me look. I love the play and line. Absolutely. Yeah. And folks, for those of you who just joined, this is just kind of a chill morning show. No rush, no pressure. I kind of like to start my day off like this and hopefully you guys do too. Oh, this is cool. They love this mirror. Look at that. That's cool. It's neat. You know, and they're trying to tell a story, tell a vibe. Like, is this lady hurt? Does she, you know, and this time, does she have tuberculosis? Or, because that was really big during that time. You know. It was also a different world. There was a lot of people who were a little more familiar with, you know, people died a lot younger, etc. But yeah, this girl did good. Who's this again? Oh, this one's cool. This looks like all punk and shit. Man, that's neat. Who is this lady? Let's look up who this lady is. Clementina Lady Hawarden. Clementina. Who is this person? So we'll look this up and then we'll probably jet shortly after. I appreciate it, you know, appreciate you hanging out with me. Cassie, thank you. And everybody. So we'll alternate this show. This show ends up, it has a lot of my nonfiction stuff in it, and this show, just like the other morning show, will have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books in it ultimately. And I'll probably move it around to around lunch. Just today with my schedule, this worked out great. Clementina Viscountess Hawarden was a pioneering Scottish photographer of the Victorian era, celebrated for her evocative portraits of her adolescent daughters. Okay, so those were her kids, and she was the mom. She was a mom tog. Born in Cumberland, Scotland, she married Cornwallis Maud, 4th Viscount Hawarden in 1845. Had 10 children, 8 of whom survived to adulthood. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, you had a bajillion kids. You know, it was like turtles on a beach. Like, get your vaccine, friends. And I will have that argument with folks, of course, under the direction of your doctor in your specific situation. Always that caveat. But, I know. 8's pretty good. And it probably because she was a woman of means. Do you know what I'm saying? She was a woman of means and still lost 2. Not that still doesn't happen now, right? I've been through 3. I actually was able to, they let me photograph, like document my wife's C-section. So I've got some pretty neat images, like maybe not neat for anybody else, but for us, I actually have an image of them pulling. They wouldn't let me go across the sheet, right? Obviously it was like a procedure. My wife was open. You don't want to see the inside of your spouse. You know what I'm saying? You know, not that inside, you know, the intestines and all the, anyway, you're a nurse, you get it. But I was there. So anyway, they pulled Gabriel, my youngest, like out of the belly. Right. And they lifted him high enough to pass the sheep. Boom, got it. So I have his like very first seconds of life, like outside of my wife's womb. So yeah, it was neat. I'm glad I did it. And we've done, not natural birth insofar as we didn't do medicine, but like not a C-section as well. We did that a couple times. We did lose one, unfortunately. That was a bummer. Young man, he was born and he died in my hands. But that was my third kid. So she actually, this lady here is batting 80%. I'm batting 75. So it is. And I appreciate it, but it's life and it happened. It was many years ago. It was probably 15 years ago. It still hurts. But I'm okay. Philosophy helps, and we're finite creatures, and it's important that we understand that sometimes, and we live as much life as we can. Sustainably, you know what I'm saying? Because we would like life to continue. So, where were we at in this? When she experimented with stereoscopic landscape images, those are those images where you have to do the thing and they have the two side-by-side images and then you move it back and forth. Very, very fun Victorian. You can see those at estate sales every now and then. You can get the little images usually for $1 or $2 a piece. Lady Hawarden's work is notable for its innovative use of natural light and mirrors. That is exactly what we recognized. Creating intimate and sometimes theatrical compositions that explore themes of femininity, I said that right, identity, and adolescence. Her photographs often featured her daughters in elaborate costumes and poses, challenging the conventional norms of Victorian portraiture. That seemed modern to me. So imagine you're a Victorian person seeing something that could be mistaken for something modern today. It would have been revolutionary in her time. Does that make sense? We have to think of it in the context of colloquially, as if we were standing there in that moment. Does that make sense? We should do that with all of history. Because it's easier to look in hindsight and go, oh yeah, that, but to was it easy to see when you were the frog in the boiling pot of water? And then we have to apply that filter to us because there's likely things going on right now that we're missing. That some joker 100 years from now with whatever will pass for a podcast then, making this statement again and go, oh, the 2020s, we're those people now. So I always kind of wonder, what's the history going to look like, and try to be on the right side of it, at least, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, Cass. Yeah, it's my 90s alternative list. It's Pearl Jam. What's this? This is, God, what the name of this, folks? Candlebox, that's right. It's my childhood, man. So, do you guys like the text? Oh, it's over here. So I'm going to just record these and throw hopefully we won't be like Idiocracy. I don't know. It's not looking so good. I'm a little concerned. They kicked out all the scientists out of America. So maybe not the rest of the world, but yeesh. You know what I mean? We need scientists, friends. So despite societal constraints that limited women's participation in professional art, I will say that the professional photographer world was quite misogynistic, all the way through Ansel Adams. It's probably a little bit better now, but it was bad, real bad for a while. Despite societal constraints that limited women's blah, 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 she gained recognition exhibiting her work at the Photographic Society of London in 1863 and 1864, where she was awarded. So this is 2 years before the Civil War, or right as the Civil War is taking off, because I think Civil War is 1865. So kind of that era. So she's taking those kind of photos while we're gearing up to fight over slavery. Her work was admired by contemporaries, including Lewis Carroll. Very rad. Who obviously he wrote Alice's Through Wonderland. I actually have an Alice Wonderland book on sale at the 1 p.m. show today, if you guys want to go check that out. Lady Hawarden died of pneumonia. Bummer. In 1865 at the age of 42. I'm 42. No. Possibly due to exposure to photographic chemicals. Gotta ventilate, friends. Her legacy endures through the preservation of her photographs, many of which are housed in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. Dang, she died in her 42. I do have antibiotics. Cassie, have fun at the picnic. We're probably going to wrap up here, too. I appreciate you hanging out, man. Have a good time and stay safe. And I do like antibiotics. This 1860s, the big defining disease of this area was probably yellow fever. I don't remember exactly where we had a big yellow fever pandemic at one point. But TB, man, tuberculosis was the not so great fun one. We didn't really start wrapping our heads around TB until the invention of the microscope. And then between that and then like people with means and decision makers realizing that TB was something that everybody got and it wasn't like the smart person's disease, because there was actually a part of society that were like, oh yeah, TB is great. It makes us look awesome because it gives you that skinny kind of like white, pale, reddish, like vampire look. And that was like the look. So people would actually like fake like that look because it was fashionable, like that you would, but it was TB that was doing it. So at some point they realized that maybe we don't do this, and now we're here. So, guys, I am going to wrap it up. So that is kind of the show. We're just, every morning we're going to come on, start the day with some neat stuff, get our brains tickled and going. And today, this was probably the big hit, learning who this young lady was, famous 1850s photographer. And work is quite good, like quite good. Quite like I could see these images being taken today and being avant-garde, as they say. On that note, let's see who's around to raid. We'll go raid somebody, and we'll call it a day. Oh, let's go to Lively Finds. I was looking at these antique books. Is Common Ground on? Ooh, 8:15. Someone's going on. Yeah, let's raid. With this group, let's go to the antique one. Just because I like the old stuff. I really do. Lovely Finds. Guys, I appreciate you swinging by. This will be on YouTube shortly, probably at some point today, for a VOD. And yeah, we do other content. So if that's your jam, word. And I will see you guys at 1 o'clock. We're doing another show then. See you in a few.